Doug Baldwin. Doug, how you doing, my man?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I made it.
You made it?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Hey, before we start talking about football, I have the most random question to ask you.
I bet you I can guess what you're going to ask me.
No, you can't.
Okay, I probably
Do you believe in UFOs, bro?
I do believe in unidentified flying objects, whether or not they're aliens, traveling vehicles. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you think the U.S. landed on the moon? Or do you think that was staged in a movie theater?
I believe they landed on the moon.
Okay. Luke Wilson, you have a teammate. He's from Canada.
Oh, hey, listen.
Luke Wilson believes
Luke
that.
and I have had a number of discussions about different things that have gone on in U.S. history that he believes didn't truly happen. So I'm going to leave that discussion to the side. We're not going to bring that up.
Do you just write it off to the fact that he's Canadian? Is that
I don't write it off, but there's something to be said about that.
Hey, let's get to some football. How would you say this offense is doing up until this point of the year?
We're doing all right. You know, we're not where we want to be, but a lot of things to improve on. But we're getting there. You know, I know from myself, I take it personally. We got to be better on third down. We want to be better on third down, and we got to be more efficient in the red zone. And that comes down to the passing game. It comes down to us making plays in the passing game. So we're not where we want to be, but we're on the right path.
You know, one of my favorite things that Richard, one of your running mates and one of our Stanford brothers, which we'll get to Stanford football a little bit later, but he had one of the greatest answers. He was asked about the third down situation, and he said, well, it's nothing in particular, otherwise we wouldn't be good at all these other categories. It's just a play, you know. And so how do you look at stuff like that? Because we've been talking about the red zone and third down, but they're just plays. So, I mean, how do you evaluate stuff like that? When you're in meetings and coaches are talking about that stuff, how do you approach it and how do you get better? Or is it just about, look, we just have to go out and execute and play better?
Yeah, it's as simple as that. You got to execute. You got to, when the play call comes in, you got to do it better than the defense, and it's as simple as that. Obviously, defenses, they do a little bit of different things on third down and in the red zone. However, so do we. So it basically comes down to us executing.
I'm going to go backwards here. He mentioned Stanford. I'm going to take you back farther than that. Gulf Breeze, Florida. How does a young man make his way all the way to the West Coast and Stanford? Give us that background.
Paul's going to try to make you cry. He made Thomas Rawls cry.
Yeah. You made Rawls cry?
I did. It was. I wasn't mean to him. I just asked him a question about his past, his upbringing, and he got very emotional about it. So, but talk about it. How did you make your way all the way to Stanford? Just give us some of your history from high school and success in getting to Stanford.
Man, I'm just a small town kid. The Pensacola News Journal, the local news journal, their co-owner, his son worked at Stanford in the recruiting department. So he called up his son and said, hey, you need to come check out this kid in Pensacola. And so they did, and the rest is history. So,
Joined here by Doug Baldwin here, Seahawks Weekly. I want to go back to the offense, all right? I'm going to go right to it. You spoke about the offense. How are the wide receivers doing up to this part of the year?
I think we're doing really well. Actually, I think this is the best we've done since I've been here. You know, we're still ranked in the top 10 of most efficient receivers in the league, receiving core in the league. Jermaine hasn't dropped a catch yet.
You haven't dropped a catch in like 87 tries? I think 87 balls you have not dropped a catch. Not that you're going to
89, but who's
89,
counting?
but who's counting?
Get it right, G.
My bad. I apologize, Doug. 89 to be exact.
No, we're doing extremely well. Like I said, Jermaine Kearse is still balling. He's making all these crazy plays like he normally does. With the addition of Tyler Lockett, how explosive he is and how talented he is, both not only as an outside receiver but also in the slot and in special teams. So we're doing a lot, and I think this is the best year as far as receivers go that I've been here, that I've seen.
Of all the positions in football, I would imagine, and I've never really thought about this much, but the wide receiver position is pretty frustrating because you can do your job perfectly. but yet events occur in other parts where either somebody doesn't find you, somebody gets sacked, somebody doesn't make a block, whatever. And so I think I'm finally starting to realize why wide receivers, the personalities they have, not that you fall into that category because you're very measured for the most part. But, some of these guys, the way that their personalities and things like that, I mean, it's got to be frustrating playing out there.
Yeah, it can be because you're so dependent on a lot of other things
Right.
to go right, to go well in order for you to have success. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to make excuses for the way receivers are perceived or stereotyped, but, because it doesn't matter, But at the end of the day, yeah, it can be frustrating because, like you said, you can do everything right, you can beat your man, and something just doesn't go right for you to get the ball or not get the ball.
How much time do you guys spend with Russell Wilson watching film and talking about things? Because this offense, the pass game, it is a little different. There's times where Russell doesn't see it, or something flashes and he does. His first instincts, he wants to escape. And, I get there would be frustration from a timing standpoint. But there's also other opportunities because he can extend. Do you spend more time from your past with someone like Russell Wilson because there's so many different options that can go on into a play?
No, we spend the same amount of time. We all watch film. The receivers, the receiving coaches, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, and Russell and Tavares as well. We all watch film together, so it's about the same amount of time that we've been watching film. But yeah, there are some differences in our offense than other offenses around the league. We have a unique quarterback. His ability to extend plays with his legs and be as athletic as he is. There's some things that are outside of the realm of a normal offense that we have to take into account, which, like you said, it makes it good for us because we get to extend plays when he gets out of the pocket. So yeah, it's it doesn't really go into watching film because all of that's just backyard football when it happens.
Yeah. Measured. Have somebody ever said that to you before, that you're measured? Has somebody ever said that? That's pretty good.
Dave Wyman.
That was pretty good.
I guess it's a nicer way of saying calculated.
There you go. All right. It must be a Stanford thing. You guys are smart that way. Take us back to when the Seahawks were 2-4. Maybe some of the media had a little doubt. Some of the fans had a little bit of doubt. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a little bit of doubt when you guys are 2-4. But what I want to know is, what was your mindset? What was your mindset during that time when you're 2-4?
Unfortunately, we've been in that situation before. We've been under 500. We haven't been playing as well as we know we're capable of. And last year I think we were 3-3 before we actually started to get some momentum going. So we're used to it, unfortunately. So there wasn't really much doubt in my mind. I knew that eventually we were going to find our stride. We were going to put the pieces together, and we were going to make a run for it. And I think that we found that momentum. We're getting back on track, and hopefully we can continue that this Sunday.
Do you hear some of the doubt that happens outside of what you guys do?
Of course you do. It's hard not to, especially when you got friends in the media that never let you not hear it.
Well, those aren't your friends.
Well, he pointed at you two.
Those are not your friends.
Wait, real quick. Did you point at me too?
My hand just, my hand's got a mind of its own.
For you that are listening on radio, it was almost like he was spreading seed around to everyone. It was going out towards everyone. You're getting ready to play against a guy, Tyrann Mathieu. I always admire guys. First of all, I would say, personality gets in the way of being a good player in the NFL. And the NFL will put you to the test as a person. And Tyrann Mathieu had a really difficult time staying eligible at LSU, and you see how he's sort of conquered that. But we've seen guys that haven't been able to do that, and their personality gets in the way. And I've always emphasized that. A lot of people, they look at stats and everything like that, but that is one of those things that's really difficult to manage, and it ends up affecting your career. And, what do you, first of all, see out of Tyrann Mathieu because he looks like a much better player, but just talk a little bit about how, because I know for me, I had to manage my emotions, try to be a little bit more measured, as, not get too high, not get too low, and that part of being a pro.
That's a very good question. I think, first and foremost, you have to look at it with a more broad eye, with a more unbiased eye, I guess you could say. you got these kids that come into the NFL that they're brought into this lifestyle. They're given a lot of responsibilities, a lot of money, and they still haven't really developed into true men yet. I think the science behind it is like men don't develop their prefrontal cortex until about 25, 26 years old, something like that. But the point of the matter is that it still takes you time to develop as a young man, and so a lot of the time, it's these men are being judged off of them still being young, and so Matthew, he's a prime example. You could say that he was immature. You could say that he's gone through some growth changes, but he's turned into a fantastic young man, and you see it on the tape. He's measured. He's very smart. He's very cerebral when he plays the game of football, and he plays with a tenacity that just jumps off the tape. So it's exciting to play against. It's obviously exciting to watch on tape as well.
They do some unique things. They've got playmakers. They moved Mathis to free safety. They put, is it Buchanan? Who's a safety at middle, really playing a middle linebacker position. Yeah. And, always 5 guys on the line. I guess a true 3-4 if you want to throw that. But they've got playmakers all over the board. Is it unique defense? I mean, is it good to have an extra week off to prepare for these guys?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you get a week more to prepare for a team, you relish in that and you enjoy that because it's going to give you feel like it's going to give you a leg up. But yeah, their defense, like I said, it's sprinkled with playmakers all over. You talk about Buchanan, he's playing the plug for him, and their 3-4 defense. He's doing a lot of things. He's covering the tight end, the running back, and he's also doing a lot of things on the third down package when he wants to blitz. And then Matthew, like you said, he's a strong safety actually in their base package, and then he goes down in the nickel when they go to the 4 down. So they've got guys all over the place, and it's fantastic to watch because it presents a challenge to us that we're excited about.
Joined here at Seahawks Weekly here at Pearl Barn Dining by Doug Baldwin, and you probably keep hearing the word measured, and that seems to be the word for the day, thanks to my man Dave Wyman. How's Ricardo? How's he doing?
He's doing really well. I went to go see him a couple days ago, and then he came into the facility yesterday, surprised us at meetings around 5 o'clock. Came in, and we're all in the front of the meeting room watching film, and he comes sneaking in the back, and he just starts making noise. I won't say what noises, but Ricardo, he's doing extremely well. For the situation that he was placed in, and the predicament, and the challenge of that's ahead of him. He's doing really well. He's got his mindset in the right direction, and he's smiling. So couldn't be happy about that.
Yeah, that was so good to hear, man. I was so relieved when I saw those pictures on Twitter. He was in a pretty nice plane flying back up here. Do you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Paul hooked him up.
Yeah, that's cool. He's a guy that really meant a lot. And that moment on the field, boy, that was, and anybody that's played, in both sides of the ball, really, you just get, tell us about how you were feeling at that time. I mean, your heart just sinks, and whether you're on the other team, nobody wants to see that on the football field.
Yeah, I mean, Ricardo is one of those guys that he puts his body on the line, in a way that not a lot of players do on the football field. Especially, he's playing special teams. He's playing one of the most aggressive positions on the team, and he's always been able to battle through injuries. No matter what it was, he was never laying on the ground. He was always walking it off or, figuring a way to get through it. And so when you see a guy like that, motionless on the ground, it's real. Something is definitely not right. And obviously the first thought that goes in my head is he's got to be able to move his legs. He's got to be able to move his arms because, obviously that's the most scariest thing, the most scariest thought that comes to my mind, to anybody's mind at that moment. So when he was able to do that, when he moved his legs to let us know that he was okay, that was a big sign of relief for us. And, it's all downhill from there.
Who do you hang out with? Is he a guy you hang out with quite a bit? But of all the guys on the team, are you still hanging out with Sherm quite a bit?
Honestly, I don't hang out with anybody on the team. I try to stay as far away from them as I can. We spend 12, 14 hours a day as it is.
Yeah.
So when I go home, I'm trying to hang out with my girlfriend and not hang out with Sherm or Locke, none of those guys.
I kind of feel that way about this guy sitting next to me. Like, we were teammates for 6 years, and I'm frankly pretty sick of him.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so I understand that.
Doug, you're saying you can imagine I'd be sick of him, right? You know him better than you know me, so.
That's no comment, Paul.
Well, hold on. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you said you don't hang out with guys. I read an article on you where, relationships are deeper, are tough, and you're working through that. So, for you to have a girlfriend, I'll be honest, that surprised me. Is this new, and how's that?
Surprised you?
Well, just from the article in that that you said it's hard to be able to focus on two things, your profession and to build a deep relationship with somebody. So I'm just throwing that out you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a growth thing that I had to get through. It was a growing process. I'm much more capable of handling it now, much more mature, and so that side is not necessarily the issue now. I've been able to be able to balance it out. So yeah, it's not difficult, but still, you don't want to be with somebody after work when you're with them for 12 to 14 hours during the day.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Doug, I mean, I'm not to be nosy. Is this the lovely lady that you brought here with you this evening?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
He's being nosy.
It'll be being nosy.
He's being nosy.
Yeah.
This is my beautiful girlfriend, Tara.
Hey. You talk about.
Nice job, Doug.
Yeah,
Good, good work.
Definitely, I'll kick your coverage, Doug. You mentioned not hanging out with people and, of course, focusing on games and things like that. This Sunday, is it a big game on Sunday?
I told you not to ask that question.
You have to ask it in different ways.
You asked it the same way you asked it
No,
last
I
time.
didn't.
Okay.
You just hammered him over the head with it, man. That
Yeah.
wasn't even subtle.
Okay.
Y'all all have heard Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll say all the cliche things, and so I'm gonna just go ahead and repeat it for you. Every game is a big game for us. It's another championship opportunity. We're just gonna take it one game at a time, and we'll see where we end up at the end of the year.
Doug, where is the book, man? Where is the book of cliches, of answers, how you supposed to answer it? You guys always get me. I can't never stump you.
I think Russell still has it. Yeah, I think Russell still has it.
You know what? You better get on your boy Sherm, because I've been hearing a lot of that out of Sherm lately. Is he just joking around?
He's bought in. He's bought in.
Oh, okay. He's been brainwashed.
Say that again.
He's drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I would say that he enjoys the Kool-Aid.
Well, I just been wondering about that. Okay, look, of the next 8 games, 5 of the next 8 games are at home, 3 in a row here at home, of course. You got Arizona Cardinals, you have San Francisco, and you have the Steelers. Is that important? How big is that going forward to the second half of the season to have 5 of your next 8 games at home?
We'll never talk about it is when we're on the road. We like to say that every game is the same, right? The football field is the same size, but we all know that there's no home field advantage like Seattle. The 12th man brings a different element to the sport that you don't see in other stadiums. And so, yeah, it's huge for us when we're able to be in front of our home crowd, be at home, at our home stadium. Yeah, it's going to be big for us.
Do you miss Jim Harbaugh? Do you miss Jim Harbaugh being in the NFL?
Skittles aren't my favorite candy, but I would say zebra cakes are probably my favorite snack. So, thanks for the question.
I'm sorry I missed the first part of that.
Well, it was bleeped out.
No, I just remember I was thinking back to your rookie year. You scored a touchdown in the first game against the Niners. Jim Harbaugh was standing over there, and he didn't draft you. And then I actually kind of miss him because he was so obnoxious. He was good to hate, and it kind of built the rivalry. But but now he's at Michigan.
If I'm being completely honest, I was a very passionately immature football player in college, and so we butted heads, obviously, and it's well documented after the fact. But the fact of the matter is that he was a phenomenal coach, and he taught me a lot of valuable lessons, not only about football but about life, that I remember to this day. And so I wouldn't take it back, the struggles that we had. Obviously, he's a great coach, and I'm happy for his success. And so I wish him nothing but the best.
What'd you say about zebra cakes? Is that your favorite?
They're my favorite. It's a off-season snack.
Okay.
It's got a lot of sugar in it.
It's a way to avoid your question. Hey, there was now that Matt Flynn's no longer here, there was a time you were number 15, you know, and you changed to number 89 when he came over. I remember those days. You didn't talk about, though, what transpired from that. So now that he's gone, what did you get for changing your number?
You know, he still owes me a dinner.
A dinner?
He does. I honestly, like, I was a rookie. I didn't know how the process went. He said, hey, I'd like to get 15. I said, well, 89 just became available, so it works for us. So I really, you know, I was going to 89 anyways. I should have milked it a little bit more.
You needed an agent for that.
That ain't what happened. I remember when that happened. He was just trying to kiss up to the quarterback.
Get a few more balls.
That's what he was trying to do.
I don't think Doug kisses up to anybody. So
No, he doesn't.
no.
Well,
You know, some guys are getting 20, 30 large out of those numbers, and you got a dinner.
No, he didn't.
Is it like the Metropolitan Grill, or is it
no,
like,
he didn't get the dinner.
is it Wendy's?
I can't remember, but he still owes me a dinner.
Well, you know, speaking of, you're talking about, you've been labeled as passionate. Tonight, you've been called measured. Sometimes there's been sayings that maybe some of these guys, the Richard Shermans, the Doug Baldwins, they aren't as loud as they used to be or as passionate. Do you still, even though you don't talk like you used to, even though you don't come out with some of the things that you used to say, are you still as passionate about the game?
Oh, without a doubt. You can ask my coaches; they'll tell you that. I let them know every Sunday and every day during the week. No, I'm extremely. I'm still dedicated to the game. Still very passionate about what we do. I mean, it's a game I love. I've been playing the game since I was 6 years old. It's everything that I know. You know, my girlfriend will tell you she'll come home from work and I'm playing Madden. You know, because I can't get it out of my veins. So it is what I love, and the passion doesn't go away.
Mentioned that touchdown your rookie year. Looking back to that, what's the most important thing? You know, we cover baseball. We have to do the Mariners too. Have to. We get to do the Mariners sometimes. I don't know baseball as much, but the thing that those guys always talk about is learning how to go about your business. Is the phrase they use, and it's basically learning how to be a pro. And coming from college and for your rookie year to now, what do you think is the most important thing about that you've learned?
To me, I think the biggest thing that I've learned, the biggest transition that's helped me, benefited me the most, is learning to work smarter and not necessarily always harder. That was one of the things that I kind of screwed up on after my rookie season. I didn't take any time off, didn't allow my body to recover. I had several injuries my second season in the NFL. And so the time that I've spent, you know, looking back and saying, okay, what could I have done differently, is more so it's just being smarter about how I work out, about how I train in the off season, so that I can last longer, so that I can be more effective on Sundays when it comes to the regular season.
I was going to ask you, not because every guy who goes to Stanford thinks they're smart. You actually are.
It's actually quite the
I know
opposite
some
of that.
Guys here that
Quite the opposite
aren't
of
as
that.
smart.
Am I right?
Talk to, you know,
It's your friend.
Life someday is a football will end. What does Doug want to do, and where will you end up making your home? Is Seattle, or you go back to Florida?
No, I'm making my home in Seattle for sure. I love it up here.
Good to hear.
I love it up here. And what I want to do, I want to. There's so many things I want to do. So I haven't decided. I've said that I want to be a high school math teacher. I want to be a high school football coach. I want to do all of these things, and I think I will. But I haven't narrowed it down just yet.
All right, since Meathead over here brought up Stanford, I'll go ahead and say, let's talk about Stanford football right now. Can they make the Final Four?
Do they make the Final Four?
Yeah.
I believe they do.
Because they got Oregon this week. They play Notre Dame. Notre Dame's one loss is against Clemson, who's now number 1, and they lost by 2 points. So if they beat them, and then you got the big game, Cal, and then you go to the Pac-12 championship.
I think they can pull it out. I'll say that.
I like it.
Hey.
We can't go.
No,
Sure
we'll be,
you can.
we'll
If
be
they're
busy.
going to the national championship game and everything, we can't go.
Yeah, we'll be busy.
Yeah, you're
Doug,
going to be busy.
Thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Give it up for Doug Baldwin, everybody. Seahawks Weekly, right here at Pearl Bar and Dining.